one up on Bozy, and in order for him to tie you, they have to do the Vergil.
Wouldn't he want to get even? Wouldn't he want to get even?
Absolutely. I'm sure
right?
he's going to listen to this. He's going to hear this, and he's going to definitely respond. We're going to get
even. I'm sure he would love to get even. I know he's not a runner. He's not afraid. so let's do it. You know, we either tie 1-1 or I could be up 2-0.
Robert Garcia is daring Bozy Ennis to get even by making the Vergil Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis fight now, insisting Ortiz is ready to knock Boots out. Looking ahead, Robert Garcia believes the circumstances are steadily pushing Ennis toward a showdown with Ortiz. He argues the matchup now makes more sense than ever, insisting the time has come for both sides to finally move the fight closer to reality.
Look, I think at this point, if you know, now that Kelly's out, because there's no way they could put him in November, he doesn't have a choice, and the zone is gonna push for that fight. Eddie should also push for that fight. We're pushing for that fight, so there's no excuses. You know, I know. As a trainer, also, you know, I know that you know, that's his son fighting, so he also wants him to maybe have a few more fights, just like any dad would choose for.
Adding to that, Oscar De La Hoya argues the path has become increasingly clear for Ennis and Ortiz to meet before the end of the year, with other leading contenders tied up or unavailable. He believes this is the matchup that now makes the most sense for the division.
I definitely want to see him against Boots. That's the bottom line. There's no ifs or buts. The fight to make is Boots Ennis, Vergil Ortiz, especially what happened this past weekend with Tim Tszyu, with Errol Spence, with this Josh Talley I haven't heard of, which got busted up, his forehead, his nose, so he can't fight till next year. Fundora already has an opponent later on this year, so the fight to make is Boots Ennis and Vergil Ortiz. Let's go.
Building on that stance, Oscar De La Hoya insists his team is fully committed to making the Ennis fight happen. He acknowledges Ennis's position in the division and accepts that the financial terms should reflect that, provided the deal remains fair for both sides.
That's the fight we want, 1,000%.
Okay.
And I know that Boots Ennis deserves the lion's share of the pie. We know that. It's fine. Let's just make sure that it's fair for both sides, because Vergil Ortiz deserves it. He's a great champion, and obviously Boots Ennis is a great champion.
At the same time, Robert Garcia gives Ennis credit for his willingness to take risks instead of relying on a cautious style. He views Ennis as the type of fighter who consistently looks to entertain the fans and make a statement inside the ring.
He would love to get even. I'm sure he would love to get even. I know he's not a runner. He's not afraid. so let's do it. You know, we either tie 1-1 or I could be up 2-0.
2-0. Right? There you have it.
That
man.
would be awesome.
That's it. I mean, the fans are going to go crazy for this fight. It's going to be one of the fights of the year.
Great fight. And I know the way Boots thinks and the way he fights, it'll definitely be one of the best fights of the year. But the fight needs to happen.
Absolutely, man.
No
You heard
excuses.
it here first. The great.
From Ennis's perspective, he makes it clear that Ortiz remains an option, but his immediate priority is collecting more world titles. He argues that a showdown with Fundora is the bigger fight for the division, and remains confident he can handle Ortiz whenever that opportunity eventually arrives.
How about Vergil Ortiz? Is that a fight that still interests you?
Yeah, it's still on the table, but right now we collecting belts right now. You know?
So belts are the priority.
We locked in on the belts right now, and I feel like the 2 guys in the belts is a bigger fight right now. Even Fundora, I feel like Fundora is a bigger fight. Everybody want to see that. I don't fight nobody. Vergil Ortiz, yes, a good fight. I feel like it's like dying down. Nobody really want to see it because I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna knock him out. They're gonna be like, he was telling me. They already seen it now. So I'd rather fight the tall guy that y'all think is this monster and get him out of here. Then I'll run through the whole division.
Offering a different outlook, Bozy Ennis insists Ortiz is no longer at the front of the line after earlier negotiations failed to produce a fight. He argues that Team Ennis has shifted its focus elsewhere, meaning Ortiz will have to wait for another opportunity.
So is Vergil probably up next for Boots?
Man, no. The reason why? Because all that stuff Vergil was doing, it had to be an act. Now him and De La Hoya back together, talking about fighting Boots and all that. Y'all made us wait. We wanted to fight right then. You know what I mean? You had us around waiting, and now y'all back together. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? You're going to have to be on the back of the head, at the end of the line.
He's at the end of the line now?
You're going to have to be at the end of the line. You had us waiting all this time and you didn't want to fight.
As the debate continues, one analyst believes the negotiating dynamic has shifted in Ennis's favor, as Ortiz's future with Golden Boy appears increasingly uncertain. He argues that pressure is now mounting on Oscar De La Hoya to secure the fight, even if it means making financial concessions to get the deal across the line.
Now the ball is in Jaron Ennis' court. And Oscar got to make something shake, since he knows now that Vergil is willing to part ways with him. He attempted to part ways with Oscar, and Oscar knows this, right? Now Oscar is desperate to give Vergil the fight that Vergil wants, which is Jaron Boots Ennis. He's desperate. And so now he's saying, oh, we can make the fight happen with Jaron Boots Ennis, and we'll concede to him being the A side. Right. Now he's willing to concede to Jaron Boots Ennis being the A side and making all the money. We know he deserves the biggest share of the pie now.
Looking beyond the negotiations, one analyst argues Ennis now holds the strongest position among the leading contenders. He suggests Fundora has every reason to pursue a unification bout with Ennis, while Ortiz is left with increasingly limited options if that fight comes together. In his view, that reality could eventually force Ortiz's team to become far more flexible in negotiations.
Jaron Ennis becomes suddenly very attractive to Vergil Ortiz, who got 3 belts. And is making a claim that he's the best fighter in the division. Now you Sebastian Fundora, what you do? You got 1 belt. You want to be the best fighter in the division. And now Jaron Ennis is going to be calling your name, Fundora. So that makes Fundora very, very attracted to Jaron Ennis, which leaves Vergil Ortiz where? On the back burner. Who's he gonna fight? Now Oscar's talking about Vergil fighting Tim Tszyu, who just beat Errol Spence. Options. He's running out of options. He don't have options. Point blank and period. Now they're desperate and willing to concede to anything to make the fight happen.
Adding to the debate, Bernie the Boxer argues Ennis should move forward with the Ortiz fight without dwelling on what happened during earlier negotiations. He believes the matchup remains the most meaningful option currently available and sees little value in delaying it any longer. In his view, a win over Ortiz would answer many of the remaining questions surrounding Ennis. That's why he considers it the right fight to make next.
Well, I think Boots should take the fight. That's what I'm saying. It don't matter. Just say, y'all killing yourself with the fighters. Stop that stupid. The man gonna fight. That's it. You know, Boots said he'll fight him. It don't matter. Boots, that's a great fight for Boots. If I'm Boots, get him up there. I get him up there. If that's the, I don't give what happened last time. Let's fight. I don't care about none of that. Okay, now you ready to fight? Let's fight then. You wasn't so sure months ago. Okay, now you sure? Let's fight. Because Boots still needs that validation. He still needs to prove that, you know. Fundora's going up. He's fighting his mandatory. There's nobody else in the realm for Boots to fight.
The analyst emphasizes that this specific stylistic puzzle is exactly what makes the matchup a dream fight for the sport. He expects a fascinating chess match under the lights, where both elite talents will be forced to dig deep to survive each other.
Now, like I say, he might have shot himself in the foot with the negotiations, but it's on them, you know. It's on y'all. Y'all went somewhere else. Y'all went talking somewhere else. Y'all went and did all that. So Boots is going to get the majority of the purse. He deserves the majority of the purse. He's a couple times world champion. Vergil Ortiz has never even sniffed a world title. And so it is what it is. They have to take what they in a position to have to take what they can get.
While Mannix isn't mincing words on this one, and honestly, it's hard to argue with him. When a fight makes this much sense, the only thing that kills it is inertia. Mannix's frustration comes from a place of urgency. Elite fighters have short windows. Styles like these don't always align twice. Stop negotiating around the edges, because the fight itself has already sold itself.
That part of it, because Boots is now the champion. Boots is the unified champion here. He enhanced himself with that win over Xander Zayas. He's taken a big step forward. So look, all I know is I want to see this fight next. Josh Kelly, respectfully, you can wait your turn. Sebastian Fundora, you got something else coming up. The boxing world wants to see Boots versus Vergil. They wanted to see it with no belts on the line. They want to see it more with 2 belts on the line. Needs to happen next.
Tomorrow's point cuts to the heart of why this fight is so combustible. That's why he's not willing to pick a side here. For someone who says he always commits to a favorite, refusing to do so speaks volumes. This is one of the rare matchups where style, size, and timing are close enough that either man walking away with a highlight reel knockout feels equally plausible.
Mr. I talked to Rick Meridian, Mr. I know everything behind the scenes. You don't know squat, Mannix, because you don't know the boxing business. Anytime we get close to a fight and it derails in time for some amount of months, and like you said, it's 9 months. That's a lifetime in boxing. They're gonna want another quick tune-up before they get in the ring, because it's a tune-up, it's another payday, and it's an opportunity to get an upper hand on Boots, because Boots is the one that's white hot. All right, he's the one that people remember from that Zayas victory. It was all over the media, the talk shows, and all that. So Boots has an advantage over Vergil right now. But if Vergil comes back and knocks some, B minus C plus type guy, then you can even out the playing field.
Vergil's trainer, Robert Garcia, weighed in on the heavily rumored clash between the division's top 2 champions. He didn't hesitate to give his definitive breakdown on who walks away victorious if Boots and Fundora square off next.
He knows my team is a hard-working team. He knows my team is always going to be in great shape. We already faced him with Raymond Morataya and Andy Cruz, and everybody knows the results. Raymond looks sensational, looks strong. And he knows that we have a solid team. He knows that my team is gonna go out there and put the best, do the best out there to win that fight. So maybe that's his reason to be maybe avoiding it. I don't know. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I think there's no other excuse. The fight should happen by November.
So you're one up on Bozy, and in order for him to tie you, they have to do the Vergil.
Wouldn't he want to get even?
When turning his attention to a potential showdown with Boots Ennis, Garcia issued an incredibly bold warning about his own fighter's power. He made a fearless prediction regarding exactly how Vergil would handle the unified champion if they finally step into the ring together.
I'll tell you, I feel like Vergil knocks out Boots.
Vergil knocks him out. How many rounds, Robert?
When he lands.
So it could be 1 to 12, any of those.
I think.
Why do you say that? No, I agree.
And Boots has hard, man. He's from Philadelphia, but I think that's also something that could not help him, because he has hard and he'll fight. He has hard fight.
Meanwhile, the Grandi twins aren't focused on a specific opponent for Ennis, insisting the priority is simply seeing the best available challenger step forward. They argue that any matchup involving Ennis and another elite contender would make for a compelling contest because of the quality both fighters bring. For them, the appeal lies in watching 2 world-class fighters settle things inside the ring.
Whoever steps up to the challenge, it's definitely that. I wouldn't say a single person, because it's whoever is in that ring at that moment and wants to contest to it. It's never going to be no strict fighter that I want to see. That's just me personally. So whoever is willing to step in the ring and challenge that throne, then challenge the throne. Again,
this is always an entertaining fighter from winning fights. Always an entertaining fighter. So it'd be definitely interesting seeing them in the ring, seeing them compete.
Okay. 2 world-class fighters, again, it's definitely always interesting seeing 2 world-class fighters go head-to-head against each other, and especially if it's Boots.
Turning to the stylistic matchup, Coach Breadman expects Ennis to edge a competitive fight with Ortiz because of his superior jab and consistent offense. Even so, he views Ortiz as a technically sound inside fighter whose compact punching and fundamentals would make him a dangerous opponent throughout the contest.
I think that Vergil and Boots go longer. I think that Vergil is a little bit more talented than Fundora. I think Boots beat Vergil because he has a better jab and can kind of score too many points with his straight punches, and Vergil marks up. And Boots is he's constant with his attack. Vergil marks up, he swells up, he bleeds all over the place. I think that will play a factor in the fight. I think it will go longer, but I think that Vergil is very fundamentally sound in the mid-range and on the inside. He doesn't drop his hands, he throws his punches right from where they're at, and he throws short, crisp hooks and uppercuts, and he's kind of even-handed.
Building on that analysis, Coach Breadman warns that Ennis cannot afford defensive lapses during close-range exchanges with Ortiz. He believes Ortiz's compact technique and sharp, efficient punching could punish any openings if Ennis becomes too loose with his shot selection.
And I think that in there, that Boots will have to be really, really sharp, because although Boots is more talented than me, to me, I think sometimes Boots right in those ranges, he drops his hands a little bit and kind of wings his shot sometimes. And Vergil is a little bit more tighter and shorter right there. I think that would be the one area that Boots will have to be careful with Vergil if they're exchanging, like let's say they're exchanging hooks and Boots throws one of his winging type of hooks and Vergil just sit on one, boom, and turn it right over. I think that will be right there, you know, where Boots could possibly have some trouble. So I think that he will have to be more careful with Vergil.
Offering another technical viewpoint, Sean Porter views Ennis as the more versatile fighter, highlighting his ability to switch stances, blend speed with power, and attack from multiple angles. He contrasts that with Ortiz, whose offense he believes relies on more deliberate shot selection to maximize his power. Porter suggests that stylistic contrast could shape the rhythm of the fight and force both men to make key tactical adjustments.
Boots is like water, man. He goes from the speed to the power. He goes from the left to the right.
The leverage.
He goes, he switch hits, you know.
More athletic, faster.
Yeah.
Just defense. He does it with no defense.
Ortiz, I think Ortiz has the call on his speed. You know what I mean by that?
No.
So what I mean by call on his speed, like, you have guys who are just fluidly boom, 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 boom. And then you got other guys like Ortiz, fights with a lot of power, but now I gotta pull back on his power and set you up with the speed, you know? Like, he has to be intentional and be selective with what he chooses to punch with.
On the other side, Timothy Bradley dismisses claims that Ortiz was avoiding Ennis, insisting the delay was driven by financial negotiations rather than a lack of willingness to fight. He believes Ortiz genuinely wants to prove himself, both to himself and to those who continue to question him, by taking on the toughest opponents available. At the same time, Bradley argues that passing up the opportunity to face Ennis may have left Ortiz in a different position than he could have been.
All right, Boots way longer than him. Reach. Boots can set up shop further out, away from Vergil. Vergil uses the high guard as a primary defense. Boots punches through that, punches around that, set lateral traps up on him. Vergil's one-dimensional. Yes, one-dimensional, dog, for real. One dimension is not gonna beat a whirlwind of dimensions. It's not. Now, he might get lucky and land a hard shot and hurt him. And then maybe finish him, but he got, we can sit here and we say, but what if, but what if, but what if, but what if, but what if? We can say all of that, but I personally don't see it happening. I don't. It's gonna be a lot of heat. Flaming heat coming at Vergil. For real.
Timothy Bradley expects Ennis to have the upper hand against Ortiz, predicting a one-sided performance similar to the Stan Eunice fight. He believes Ortiz's pressure-heavy approach would give Ennis the type of opportunities he exploits best. In his view, Ennis's ability to read the action and respond instinctively would allow him to take control as the fight unfolds.
Boots one of the best counterpunchers in the game. That's why Boots is so damn dangerous. Because he get hit and then he's still landing at the same damn time. He punching in between punches. He's slipping punches and countering. He's making all this stuff up as he going because he's just off a feel. Yeah, off a feel, just oh, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that. Just off a feel. Yes. Some fighters, that's what they do. That's how they operate inside the ring, right? See, Ortiz KOs Boots in 5 rounds. Nah. Hey, big dog. Nope. Go back and watch the Madrimal fight.
Looking at the matchup differently, Sean Zittel expects a potential Ennis-Ortiz clash to be one of the most entertaining fights the division can offer. He points to Ortiz's combination punching and underrated hand speed as qualities that would naturally push the contest into a high-tempo battle. Rather than trying to outbox Ennis from range, Zittel expects Ortiz to embrace a firefight from the opening bell.
That's an amazing fight because Ortiz brings, he's not known for his velocity, but he does bring really good punching velocity, aka speed, and he's an incredible combination puncher, and he's not going to make the mistake of what you're saying of trying to outbox Vergil or Jaron Ennis. He's going to make it a firefight and go blow for blow, and oh my God, on paper, what a fight that should play out to be, and he has more firepower.
Even so, Sean Zittel suggests Ortiz could draw confidence from some of the moments where Ennis has looked vulnerable in recent fights. He believes Ortiz and his team will study those sequences closely in search of openings they can exploit. Even so, Zittel cautions that identifying weaknesses on film is very different from dealing with Ennis once the fight begins. In his view, the real challenge only becomes clear after the opening bell.
Ortiz who's licking his chops. Oh, if I land those same shots like Xander Zayas did, I'm going to take it a step further and knock him out. Just like Xander Zayas, if this guy Jukajan, who's not the fighter I am, is giving all these angles and frustrating him and making him reach, then I'll take it another step further, and until you get in there and it's not that. You know, just because,
you get in there.
The debate isn't going away, and all eyes are now on whether Ennis and Ortiz finally share the ring before the year is over. Who wins if this fight gets made, Ennis or Ortiz? Drop your prediction in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more boxing updates and analysis.